Sometimes, the people we think are gone forever, they're actually closer than we imagine. And sometimes the people we trust the most, they're hiding the darkest secrets right under our noses.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, what if a whole town just bought into the simple story? Guilt, tragedy, case closed.
Right. While the real, really chilling truth is just buried, waiting for someone, maybe someone brave enough to dig it up.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us for this exploration. We're diving into a fascinating book you shared, one that really unpacks a seemingly closed small-town mystery.
Yeah, it's quite the story. We'll get into the twists, the turns, the hidden layers.
And see how easily a community can just settle for that convenient lie, instead of the complex truth.
And look, as we get into the tangled web in this book, just remember, exploring stories like this, it could really spark your own critical thinking.
That's a great point.
Our Mindful Moments YouTube channel, it actually uses AI-powered analysis to help you reflect on the books you read. Sort of helps you see beyond the surface. It encourages that deeper look into ideas.
Okay, excellent. So let's start with the story everyone in Kilton thought they knew. This goes back to, April 2012?
That's right. The book lays it out clearly. Andy Bell, popular girl, high school, she disappears.
And pretty much straight away, all eyes turn to her boyfriend, Sal Singh.
Yeah. Suspicion falls on him immediately. And then, just days later, Sal is found dead.
Ruled a suicide.
Officially, yes.
Yeah.
And the police, well, they wrap it up fast. Case closed. They state their belief. Sal abducted and murdered Andy. Done.
It's presented as just tragic, but straightforward.
But the book points out how this narrative got amplified. The local paper, the Kilton Mail.
Stanley Forbes, the journalist.
Right. He really ran with it. And maybe even, fueled the town's rush to judgment. The book doesn't shy away from mentioning how prejudice might have played a part, even referencing Sal's Indian heritage, disturbingly.
It's quite shocking, isn't it? How quickly people latch on to the simple explanation.
It gives closure, I suppose, but sometimes that closure buries the real truth.
And that's exactly where Pip, the main character in the book, comes in. She never bought it.
No. Even back when she was 12, she felt things didn't add up. Inconsistencies.
So years later, she's a senior in high school, and this capstone project comes up.
The perfect excuse, right?
Yep.
A major research project. So she decides to revisit the Andy Bell case.
But it's clearly more than just homework for her.
Oh, absolutely. The book shows it's personal. It's about finding the truth, finding justice for Sal, really.
And she doesn't do alone. She finds an ally in Ravi Singh, Sal's older brother.
Yeah, Ravi's crucial. He's completely convinced his brother was innocent. Desperate for anyone to believe it too. Their partnership becomes key.
So Pip starts digging, and right away, the things she finds about Sal, they just clash with the town's image of him.
Totally. The book paints him as, kind, happy, never lost his temper, a good brother.
Straight A student, offer from Oxford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How does that square with being a killer? It doesn't.
And it makes you question that official story immediately. Pip looks back at Sal's original alibi, too, doesn't she?
She does. He told the police he was at his friend Max Hastings' house until late the night Andy vanished. His dad confirmed he got home like 10 to 1 in the morning.
Sounds solid enough on the surface.
Well, yeah. But here's the first big crack. Pip finds out Sal's friends, Max, Naomi, Millie, Jake, they lied to the police.
Lied? About what?
About the time Sal left Max's house. They told the police he left much earlier than he actually did.
Why would they do that? To make him look guiltier?
Not exactly. It was more about protecting themselves.
Yeah.
Once Sal became the main suspect, they panicked. They wanted distance.
Okay, but distance from what? Just from being friends with a suspected killer?
There was more to it. A much darker secret they were all keeping. The book reveals that back on New Year's Eve 2011, months before Andy disappeared.
Right.
Max was driving drunk. Naomi, Millie, and Jake were in the car. They hit someone.
Oh, wow. A hit and run.
A serious one. They badly injured a man, left him paralyzed, and they covered it up.
And we got away with it.
They thought they had. But someone else knew. They started getting blackmailed. An anonymous person, the book just calls them unknown.
Unknown. Okay.
An unknown threatened to expose the hit and run unless they did exactly what they were told.
And one of those things was?
Lie about Sal's alibi. Make him look like he had no alibi for the crucial time Andy disappeared.
So they weren't trying to frame Sal because they thought he did it. They were trying to save their own skins.
Exactly. Desperate self-preservation. Naomi confesses this to Pip later, The panic, the awful decision to just leave the injured man there, it completely changes Pip's understanding.
Yeah, I bet. It means Sal wasn't just abandoned by his friends, he was actively undermined.
Right. So Pip realizes she needs to look beyond Sal. She has to understand Andy Bell better, too, not just the popular victim image.
And the book shows Andy was, well, complicated.
Very. People described her as a bully sometimes, using emotional blackmail. There's this disturbing story about her threatening another girl, Nat Da Silva.
Using something about Nat's brother.
Yeah. Really manipulative stuff. And her home life sounds difficult, too.
Her sisters, Becca and Jess, they talk about their dad, Jason Bell.
Making these cruel jokes about their weight, their looks, telling Andy her face was her moneymaker, just brutally abusive.
It paints a very different picture. And then Pip uncovers another secret Andy was keeping.
The drug dealing.
Right. Weed, pills, even Rohypnol.
Yeah. The book identifies Howie Bowers as her supplier.
And this connects back to Sal's friends again, doesn't it? Max Hastings.
It does. Max admits to Pip he bought drugs from Andy. Regularly. Including Rohypnol, roofies.
Which ties into those earlier suspicions about drinks being spiked at parties Max threw.
Exactly. It's all starting to connect, but in really messy ways. So Pip and Robbie, they start looking for more solid evidence. They think Andy must have had a secret phone, a burner phone.
Probably hidden in her room.
That's their guess. Which leads to this really tense scene where they actually break into the Bell house.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, they almost get caught by Becca, Andy's sister. They don't find the phone right then.
If they find something else.
They do. Andy's planner.
And
it's got these weird coded entries.
Like IV at 6, HH at 6.
Stuff like that. And a phone number. Scribbled out, but still partly visible. Pip eventually decodes IV as the Ivy House Hotel.
Okay.
And following that clue, using the planner, eventually links both Max Hastings and Howie Bowers, the drug supplier, to that hotel.
Things are getting closer, but also more dangerous for Pip, right?
Definitely. She starts getting these anonymous warnings, texts, walk away. Someone is watching her.
And then it gets really serious.
Yeah.
Horribly serious.
Yeah. The book describes the death of her dog, Barney. And it's not an accident.
She gets a text message.
From unknown, confirming they did it intentionally to scare her off.
That's terrifying. It proves the threat is real and personal.
It really escalates things. Pip now knows unknown isn't just some blackmailer tied to the hit and run. They're likely involved in the killings or covering them up.
So she has to figure out who unknown is, connect the blackmail, Barney's death.
And the breakthrough comes from that scribbled out number in Andy's planner. And another clue, a spare SIM card she finds.
Why did she find it?
Hidden in Elliot Ward's desk. He's Kara's dad. Kara is Pip's friend, and he was actually Sal's English teacher.
Oh, teacher.
Yes. And connecting that SIM card to the number to the anonymous text, Pip realizes the shocking truth. Elliot Ward is unknown. He's the blackmailer.
Wow. Okay, so then the confessions start coming out.
They do. Layer after layer of guilt. Elliot confesses to Pip first. He admits he was having an affair with Andy. She was only 17.
His student, or former student.
Former student by them, but still underage. He tried to end it. Andy reacted badly, destroyed his wife's paintings.
So they argued.
Big confrontation. He says he pushed her. She fell, hit her head hard, then ran off into the night.
But he didn't call for help.
No. He panicked. He decided to frame Sal Singh, planted evidence, used Sal's phone to send a fake confession text.
And then?
Oh, God.
And then he killed Sal. Murdered him to silence him permanently, just in case Andy ever turned up alive.
That's beyond cold-blooded.
It gets worse. Months later, Elliot actually finds Andy. She's alive, but homeless, drugged. Instead of helping, he kidnaps her.
Kidnaps her. Why?
Imprisons her in another house he owned, just to keep his murder of Sal covered up. If she reappeared, his story would collapse.
So he kept her prisoner. For how long?
The book implies for quite some time. And he admits to Pip he killed Barney, her dog, deliberately, to make her stop investigating.
What a monster. But wait, that's Elliot's story. Is that the final answer? Did he kill Andy?
That's what Elliot believed, or wanted Pip to believe he believed about the initial injury. But no, there's one more twist, one final confession. From Becca Bell, Andy's sister.
Becca, what did she do?
She confesses to Pip that she was the one who ultimately killed Andy that night. Andy came home after the incident with Elliot. She was high, erratic, disruptive. They got into a terrible fight.
A physical fray?
Yes. And in the struggle, Becca put Andy in a chokehold. She says she just wanted her to stop. But combined with that earlier head injury from Elliot,
It was fatal.
it was fatal. Becca panicked. She thought she had caused the head injury too, maybe during the fight, didn't know about Elliot, so she hid Andy's body.
Oh, man. So Elliot injured her, then Becca accidentally killed her.
Essentially, yes. Which leads Pip to her final conclusion, the one she presents publicly. And it's not simple. It's not the neat story the town wanted.
No single killer.
No. While Becca delivered the final, fatal act, Pip argues that more responsibility was shared. So many people played a part.
Who did she name?
Elliot Ward, obviously. For the affair, framing Sal, killing Sal, the kidnapping, killing Barney, just horrific actions.
Right.
Howie Bowers, for supplying the drugs that fueled Andy's risky behavior and the final confrontation. Max Hastings, for buying those drugs, especially the roofies, contributing to a dangerous party culture.
Even Andy's dad.
Jason Bell, for the years of verbal abuse that likely damaged both his daughters significantly. And Becca Bell, for the act itself, even if accidental in the final moment.
And Pip even includes Andy herself, doesn't she?
She does. Acknowledging that Andy's own choices, the bullying, the blackmail, the drug dealing, put her on a dangerous path and hurt others. It wasn't victim blaming, more like acknowledging the full messy picture.
And how did the town take this, after believing Sal was guilty for 5 years?
The book shows they really struggled. It's hard to accept such a complex, uncomfortable truth when you've lived with a simple lie for so long. Especially one that fit existing prejudices.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Truth is rarely simple. Communities can grab onto easy answers.
Absolutely. The book just unravels this whole web. Lies, secrets, failures, blame spread across multiple people. Justice is complicated.
Stories like the one in this book, they really do challenge you, don't they? To look past the easy narrative, to ask harder questions.
Definitely. And if you want more ways to reflect critically on books and complex topics, you can check out Mindful Moments, that YouTube channel we mentioned with the AI analysis.
Good reminder. And you can also find more in-depth explorations similar to this one right here on our podcasts.
So maybe something to think about as you go about your day. In our towns, our cities, wherever, how often do we just settle for the convenient story?
Yeah, and miss the difficult truths hiding right there in plain sight. What truths might you be overlooking? Makes you wonder.
It does.
Well, if you found this exploration intriguing, please do subscribe to this channel. We do more discussions like this based on compelling stories.
Yeah, and share it with a friend, especially one who loves a good mystery.
And you can experience Pip's investigation firsthand. Definitely worth it by grabbing the book. There's a link in the description below.
And, maybe most importantly, just keep thinking critically. Question the narratives you see every day.
Absolutely. Great advice.